Friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I have a fun fold technique that you're just going to love. It's called a Peekaboo slider card. It's actually quite simple to make once you get your 3 pieces made for it and the design done. So I'm going to show you how cute this little guy is with this stamp set, Over the Moon. It's coming out in the new Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog on June 4th, 2019. Cute little cows in there with all these great sentiments to go with it. So I'm going to also be using our hardwood stamp on here for that background to create that red barn. I took a little time getting this together because in my head I was using crumb cake and it just wasn't looking right. And then when I switched over to red and black, it just really popped on there. I loved it. So if you haven't got your hardwood stamp, it is retiring, so grab it. So Over the Moon, if you're ever looking for this card with the measurements and the colors and things that I make, look in the search bar on my blog, CindyLeeBDesigns.com, and in that search bar, if you put in Peekaboo slider or any other technique you're looking for, maybe it's watercoloring or something like that, just put that into the search bar or the name of the stamp set, Over the Moon. And then all the cards that I've made with that technique or with that stamp set will pop up and you can scroll through the links and go right to the card. So on this card, as you can see, we're using real red and there's 3 pieces. Now you're gonna wonder, why does Cindy already have these stamps? Well, because I was halfway through my video and my alarm went off on my phone telling me that my my muffins were done in the oven. So I had to stop it. And I thought, oh, am I going to cut the paper again? No. Okay. So I'm going to just show you all the pieces, but I'm not going to actually stamp the hardwood on there. So this is the front piece here. And this front piece, there's 3 pieces to a Peekaboo slider card. And I'm going to put the measurements right here. That front outside part, it is 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, and then we're going to score it at 2 3/4. So that's going to be the front of our card. And then we have an inside portion of the card that eventually gets attached to the front, and that piece is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, and we score it at 4 1/4, so it becomes a 4 1/4 inch little card inside there. So that's going to eventually get adhered to there. And then we have to have a back onto our card, and that back is 4 1/4 by 5 3/4, and we're going to score at 5 1/4 so that we have a 1/4 inch flap here to attach to the card to create the back of the card, this portion right here. Okay, so you can go ahead and fold that back after you score it, and I put a little piece of tear tape on here on that 1/4 inch side because I want it to be secure whenever the person is playing with the card. Okay, so let me just tell you really quick how I do use my background stamps. I put my background stamp on my surface, I ink it up, and then I just decided which part of my card. I knew this was going to be the front, so then I just lay it down onto that background stamp, and then I put a piece of scratch paper over it and I just rub it, and I find that's the easiest, best way to get complete coverage without any flaws. And so that is the quick way I do that. Okay, so we've got the front, we've got the inside, and we've got the back. Okay, now you'll notice on this card we have the Peekaboo there, and that's the circle. So we are going to be using our 2 inch circle punch, but you can certainly use any size Peekaboo you want and any shape that you want, but you're just going to make sure that you're using the same shape on each one. On my first video, I didn't leave myself enough clearance here, so that's why we're doing this maybe 3rd, maybe 4th, I don't know how many takes this has been. But remember, this is 2 3/4, so this will be 2 3/4, so we can use a 2 inch punch. So I want to be really careful this time and not go too close to this edge. And so if I put this 2 inch punch down and I hold it so it's flush on this side where the closing apparatus is, and then just give yourself a little leeway with a little bit of red on this side here. Okay, so just so that you can see a little stripe of red there, but make sure your punch is pushed the whole way into this metal edge, or else you're going to have that problem I had with my popping that out, and then you have that to use for something. Okay, so now I'm going to have enough room to put my border on there. And so the next thing you're going to do is you notice these line up here. Okay, does that mean we're going to go in here and try to cut this? No, we're going to use our handy dandy pencil. When you go to attach this eventually, it's going to be opened on your right side, just like a normal card would open. Okay, so it's going to open on that right side. So we're going to line this up as if it is already adhered. And then we see where the circle has to match up. And then we're just going to take our pencil and we're going to draw a pencil line around there. And then we're just going to take that 2-inch circle punch and we're going to pop it in there. And actually, you know, because you went flush with the other one, you're almost going to be right and just get it lined up. Oh, I don't want to do 2 of them just because, I'm sorry. We're going to do 2 of them, but don't do 2 of them because it can sometimes get a little bit raggedy if you do 2. So we're going to punch that one, another circle to be used for something. And then we have to have not only this opening, but we need an opening on this side too. So what we're going to do is the same thing, but it's a lot easier to do it this way. We're going to take our pencil, throw it on the table, and then we're going to make another circle here, circle there, and then you can see your pencil line there. Once again, if you pop it in, it's going to be nice and flush with this part there, you know, right, like flush there, but you're really watching the pencil line, which is a little hard to do in this video. See, I'm off a little bit. Let me get a better view there. Pencil line, there we go. Pop that out. And I have another red circle to go in my scrap box. So now you can see these circles all match up. So there we go. Now, I am just going to go ahead and show you how I made this little border. I could have just left this blank, but I think the black really popped it up. So the way to do that is pick a punch, your 2-inch punch, and you could go 2.5, you could go 2 1/4, depending on how thick of a border you went around it. And the way you do that is take your smaller circle, okay? Take your smaller circle, put it into whatever cardstock you're using. In this case, I'm using black. Put the smaller circle in flush with here and pop it out. Okay, got another circle. Now you're going to take your bigger circle. So pop, you punch first the smaller circle. Then you're going to take the larger circle and you're just going to put the larger circle around the smaller circle. Pop it. There, you know, you have the border there. And we need 2 of those. So once again, we'll do another one. Basic black here. Smaller circle first. Smaller circle. Punch. And make sure you put it flush with this so that you have enough room. And you don't end up, oh darn. Do you ever have these pop out? If these pop out, put the flat side towards you. So the flat side goes down towards the opening. Kind of put it on a diagonal, pop it in, and then push it up as if it's closed, and then you can close it back, okay? That happens with some of my punches. So we're gonna put our larger circle, which was the 2.5, right around. And whenever you do it flush with here, this one is flush as well. And get that, there we go. Except for it flew down on the floor. Okay, so let's put those circles aside right now. Alrighty, pop that. Okay, so now we have our 2 border circles. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put those on right now. So we're gonna put some of our Tombow. Just a thin line. Don't want to get too gushy because then it's going to come out all over the card. And then we'll just put that around the 2-inch circle that we made. And because we used the same punch, and if you used your circle, layering circles, you would just make sure you use that same circle. So now that is going to be attached to here. So we need to do this inside portion here. So let's just do the same thing here. If you have any little raggeties, just get those off. And Little bit of glue around that border. And then we're going to put it around the inside of the card. Pop that down, make sure that I don't see any red there. Okay, we've got our inside of our card. Now, we're going to go ahead and put the back on. Now look at this was our front. The front has that flap. Then this is going to get adhered eventually, but we're not going to do it till we have some work done on the inside. So this is going to be the next part of the card. But this back portion that has the flap, the 1/4 inch flap with the tear tape, it's going to go on here. So make sure your card is open to the right and you're going to put it onto this portion here. And I'm going to get my Stampin' paper piercer to get that off. Okay, cooperate. Alrighty, so there is that portion. Now this, like I said, is the inside that opens just like a book, and you're going to put that onto that flap, making it flush with the back. So there we go. And that's the back of your card. I'm going to leave this back on here so that we remember that, okay? So now this is the way this is going to go together here on the front. Alrighty, but we need to have what we want to have on the back of our card here. So on this back is what you want to see when you see the card is closed. So I wanted to see "You're utterly fantastic," and then it to open up and see the cow dreaming with a little heart there. So that little sentiment. So that means I have to put my sentiment here on the back that I want to see on the front. So you can see that's the front, which is really the back, okay? So what I decided to do is I use circles on that because I saw that on a video of somebody's, but I was having a little bit of an issue placing it. And I thought, why not just put a piece of white in here? So I just took a 3 by 4 1/4 inch piece of Whisper White, and I'm just going to put that right on that card, and then I'm going to show you a trick to make sure it's placed in the right place. So I'm going to put some adhesive along there, and I'm just going to pretend I'm going to have it a little bit closer to the edge, and then 1/8 of an inch on top and bottom, but close to this fold so that it can close there. And that's going to be the back of my card. So while we have that open, let's just make a pencil mark so we know exactly what we see when the card is. Okay, so the thing that's going to go in there is the "You're utterly fantastic" and our cow. So there, I don't want to lose all my pieces here. Okay, so I'm going to ink up with Memento Black, "You're utterly fantastic." Make sure I'm looking at the right way. And then I'm going to stamp right inside that pencil line that I did. And then I'm going to take that cute little cow that's just kind of standing there looking. He's not laying down, he's not holding the flower, and I'm going to stamp him. I'm going to come over here, beat on that rubber stamp off camera there, and I'm going to put him so that we can see some of him right in the circle. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just going to erase my pencil line that I made. Now I wanted that pencil line there so I knew exactly what's going to peek through. Get all that, the shavings off of there. And why don't we just go ahead and color Mr. Moo here. Okay. On my cow, what I did is I used ivory blend for his little snout here. I guess that's a little snout. And I just colored it in with the ivory, leaving his nostrils open. Just colored his little face. All right, and then I just took some of my light Flirty Flamingo and I did his little nostrils. I went again and gave him a little pink in his ears too. Alrighty, and then I wish I would have changed this up, but I used the basic black for his hooves because I wasn't sure how much you were going to see, like if it interfered with the black lined image with the Memento black, but I wish I would have did his spots in the light black and then did his hooves in the gray. So I think it would have looked actually a little cuter. So then I used the dark smoky slate to do his spots. And like I said, I wish I would have did it the other way, but since I already did the other pieces, we are going to go with that. Getting a little smoky slate on his that, and just put a little bit of smoky slate on his little Elvis James Dean haircut there, and a little bit on his tail. Oh golly, I just realized I forgot to do the little udder there. I'm thinking that's kind of the color there. There you go. And I kind of liked having the full-blown look of the cow inside here whenever I just did the circle there. I think he looks cute. So you can see that's what we're going to see on the outside of the card. I mean, whenever the whole card's put together like this. Okay? There we go. So that was the tricky part there. Now we just have to get this piece in here. Now that goes on to the flap on the front. So that's this flap here. So what I'm going to do here is this is going to be the flap that slides over, and I just put a piece of white in there. And I just did a 2.5 by 4, a 2.5 by 4. And then I just put it on there as if I was just putting a 1/8 inch border the whole way around. And then I know whenever, okay, let's get all these pieces. This is the card. Okay, this is going to go on here. So now when this slides over, so what we're going to do is slide it over. You have to line it up on this side. And then we're going to make a pencil line on this one as well, so we know where to put our little sentiment there. Okay, so this is the flap that's part of the front of the card. Okay, and we just use that cute little heart in that little thought bubble. And I just kind of did it at an angle. There we go. And then, because we're using real red, I went ahead and got the dark real red and thought we can just color in the heart so it matches. And then we will just come and we will erase our pencil line. So just remember, the part that's going to slide over is the front of the card. So that's the front of the card, and then this slides over and slides open like that. Okay, so now we've got those pieces done. So we know that this was, let's just look at it again. Let me get my little, so we knew this was the front. Okay, the front has the flap on it. we know the inside was this portion here. This inside was the 4 1/4 that opened to the right side, and then we attached the back to it right here with this here. And then we knew that this back portion was the part we're going to see when the card is closed. So now, to finish it off, the actual mechanism of the card is we are going to put adhesive all over here, and we're going to be, okay, guess what? We just ran out of our adhesive, so we're just going to use glue. You guys knew in my last video I almost ran out. I should have been prepared with that, huh? So we have our glue there, and we're going to line the front of the card up with this portion. And then you can see it opens this way and this flap closes, and when it closes we see the word bubble. Okay, so all we have to do is decorate the word bubble part and the outside. So I played around and got my cows stamped and cut out, and then I just took a layering oval and I put a little green on there just to give a little grass. So just put a little bit of adhesive. If you run out of your stamping, your snail, you can just use some glue. And I just put the little dreamy cow on some grass, and then put our cute little guy here. And I'll have all the colors that I used for the blends. And then I popped him off on the outside. So let's get some Stampin' Dimensionals and put one up on his head, down in the grass, one down around his belly, and then he goes on the outside of the card. So we'll just take our little dimensionals off of here. And him being on dimensionals really gives a nice outside look there. And he just goes on the outside. And isn't it cute? He has a little flower looking a little cow there. And then when it opens and slides, that's where Mr. Dreamy, little Mr. Dreamy cow is going to be. So we're going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of the grass and then pop that on the inside. And he's just dreaming of a love there. So there, when now see, when you close it, you're utterly fantastic. When you open it, it just slides over. It's just 3 pieces. I actually watched the video and then I was trying to put it together and I was like, where does this adhere to? It doesn't. It just slips in. When the person goes to open it, you naturally open it like that. You naturally, just like a book, open a card and it just slips over. Is that adorable or what? And then you can write your message on the back since you don't really have any place. You could write here if it's, you know, happy birthday or something, but you can just pop it right on the back. Is that cute or what? A Peekaboo slider card using the Over the Moon stamp set. You just have to cut 3 pieces of real red and then just get your pieces together and watch the video a couple times. Super easy to do. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me at cindyleeb@gmail.com or call or text me at 724-323-2296. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too confusing because it is a little bit to wrap your head around, but watch it a couple times. And like I said, it's just 3 pieces adhered together and you're going to have a really cute card to give to someone. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.